ever felt like your boss just does not see you accurately? Like, you know what you bring, and you know how much you think through and how much you carry or contribute. Maybe you prevent problems from even occurring, or you catch details, and there are people that you support, and you uphold standards of not only your own but of the company. Yet somehow that's not what's being reflected back to you. Like, you're being seen as less strategic than you actually are. Maybe less capable, or not quite ready, or less confident. In any case, less visible, right? And that gap between how you really are being in your workplace and how you're being seen, that can be so maddening. Because internally, you know who you are, but externally, that's not what seems to be landing. So by the end of this clip, you're going to understand why that gap happens, what's actually shaping how people perceive you, and how to close that gap, like without performing or trying to prove yourself or becoming someone you really aren't. Most people think that recognition comes from being capable. Recognition comes from capability being visible, like being seen in a consistent and an observable way. And that is different. So you can be deeply capable and still be misread. And you can be thoughtful and maybe still appear to be hesitant, or maybe you are very responsible, but you appear passive, right? So you can be holding a lot and still be perceived as not taking ownership because no one sees the thinking behind what you're doing. And that's frustrating. If you're doing the work, you want it to be seen. So that's workable, because perception is not something that happens to you. It is partially co-created. But it's great when we know that we actually have impact on circumstances, that we can do something. But in many cases, there's still something that you or the individual can work with, can influence, okay? So the first question is, why does it feel so painful to not be seen accurately? That discomfort, where does that come from? Because being misread, it touches something deeper. And you know your internal reality, right? You know your effort, you know your intention, you know how much you really care about what you do. But here's what the difficult part is. Other people do not have access to your internal reality. I'm going to say that again. People out there can't read what's going inside of yourself. They have access to what they repeatedly experience from you from the outside.